Not too long ago on Noisegate, we were looking at the VOX series, the Valve Energy series of amp in a box type pedals, and we were quite taken with the way that they sounded. A little while back, maybe at NAMM the year before last, VOX announced that they were going to do a full effects series of the Nutube Technology effects pedals. So they've been actually quite hard to come by, and we haven't been able to get our hands on them until very recently. So I'm lucky enough today on Noisegate to be checking out 4 of these Valve Energy series pedals. I've got the Smooth Impact Tube Compressor, I have the Powerburst Tube Booster, the Fuel Injector Tube Overdrive, and the Tone Sculptor Tube Preamp Equalizer. So all of these have the same Nutube technology that VOX have put in the Valve Energy series of amp in a box pedals, and I was really quite impressed with how these sounded. The first thing I'll say about these is that I feel like VOX have kind of, I don't know if the styling makes these look like they are a little bit cheap or something, I don't know. The styling immediately made me feel like, oh, I'm not sure about these, but as soon as I plugged them in, I was really very pleasantly surprised. In the same way as the Valve Energy Amp in a Box series had, they've got these little screens with the readouts on them that show you kind of what's going on. And when we're all shoegazing into our pedal boards, that's fun because we want something interesting to look at rather than just our feet missing our pedals, as sometimes happens. With these pedals here, the tube compressor straight away grabbed me because I'm used to, you know, that really squishy kind of immediate compression that guitar players often use for that chicken pickin' sort of sound. But being a tube compressor, I had to think a little bit differently about this one. So I had to think about something like, say, a Fairchild 660 or one of the famous sort of tube studio compressors. And they are much slower in the way that they compress. And this is kind of the same as that. But I really did feel like this felt very natural. This has 3 settings on it: the vintage, the natural, and the sag. So the vintage and the natural are both kind of in the vein of studio style tube compressors, and the sag is supposed to make it feel like the tubes in a guitar amp, kind of that sag that you get from a guitar amp, which would be really good if you were running into a digital modeler or into a solid state amp and you felt like that immediate kind of response of a solid state amp wasn't kind of as natural as you were used to. The Smooth Impact Tube Compressor would actually be amazing before your amp in that situation to give you that kind of tube feel. But let's have a quick listen to this. I am plugged today into an extremely pedal platform style amp. So this is a very, very neutral sounding guitar amp, and on its own sounds like this. So very neutral. Let's put this compressor on. I'm on the vintage setting at the moment. And you can see there on the little readout that you can kind of see your gain reduction and what's going on with your signal, which is cool. But a really natural sounding compression, which is what I think I like about it the most, is that it's not doing too much to my tone, but it does really feel like it's doing what it should be doing, which is, you know, evening out the discrepancies in my playing. So let's have a listen to a picked part if I went. And then put this on. Sounds really, really nice. The other thing that's cool is this tube gain feature. So I can actually get quite a bit of drive out of this if I want. Which is not a feature that is on a lot of other compressors, certainly in pedal form. The sag, let's go to the sag, let's put the compression right up and the output up a bit. So you can still kind of get that spankiness, but it's really way more subtle. A very, very nice compressor indeed. Let's move on to the Powerburst. Now this I loved. We've got 3 settings on this. So you've got a mid boost. I'll go start with that one. So this is off, mid boost. I've got a natural boost, which is a kind of a full range boost. And then my favorite here was the treble boost. And you heard that at the start of the video with just the compressor and the treble boost. if you're using your neck pickup, you know, sometimes you just want a little bit more brightness to what you're doing, or a little bit more top end sparkle without it adding too much kind of brittleness, I think. I don't know if it's the tube in this or just the way that this is tuned in particular, but I think that the treble boost part of this sounds really good. I really like that. Moving over to the fuel injector, and we have a extremely natural sounding overdrive. Now, once again, I don't know if the visuals got in the way of my preconceptions of this pedal, but being a black pedal, I think I just assumed it was going to be mostly a heavy drive. And you can definitely get heavy, but it's got a really broad range. So I'm going to start quite low. I'm on the natural setting, which feels a bit more like an amp, and is very wonderfully reactive to my guitar volume as well. Which is a great, you know, really thick tube kind of overdrive. If we flick into this fat setting here, we get a bit more gain, a little bit more kind of mid-range in this as well. Now hit that with the treble booster. That is a killer rock and roll tone. Finally, the Tube Sculptor here. Now this is an EQ which does exactly what it says on the tin. We've got 6 bands there of EQ, all with a 10 dB boost or cut, and a 12 dB boost or cut on the level. So you can keep this flat and just literally use this like a volume boost, which a lot of people do. But it is also a really nice sounding EQ as well, and a little bit of a preamp boost as well, or a little bit of a, you know, bit of tone to it as well, which I kind of liked. So let's go to this kind of John Scofield thing here, shall we? Go to this kind of like radio. And of course you can get the really scooped kind of Metallica thing as well with your overdrive. So if I go back and put this drive on, and then I add my EQ, of course we can flip that around entirely and get a lovely mid boost as well. Almost in that cocktoir kind of sound. Better not do that too authentically, or the bots will flag us. The drawback I found about the Tone Sculptor here is that there's no midpoint. A lot of EQs on the sliders, it has like a midpoint, and you can feel it kind of click where the middle is. I don't know if that's a huge problem. I mean, it is really nice to be able to just quickly move my fingers around like this and sort of vaguely get a tone, but I also think that, you know, being kind of small, it would have been nice to have a midpoint in that. But that's really nitpicking. Overall, great sounding EQ, but I was, like I say, really taken especially by the power burst and the smooth impact compressor. I thought they sounded really, really nice, and to the point that I feel like I might want to include that power burst on my own pedal board, I think. But, you know, really killer pedals, and this Nutube technology means that we've got this beautiful tube squishiness and tone that we all know and love, and we want to keep in our rigs, even though it's becoming more and more difficult to, especially with tube amps, to turn them up and get the tones that we want, but also to make our modeling and our solid state amps sound and feel like a tube amp. That's exactly where these pedals are going to find a great home. But also just anyone who kind of wants a really nice drive or a really nice boost with a little bit of that tube warmth as well to add to their already tube rig, and they really do sound good. Like I said at the start, don't let the visuals of these pedals deceive you. I'm not sure if I am a big fan of the way that they look because it belies the quality of the sound that's in these pedals. But like I said, I was really, at the beginning, before I plugged these in, same with the Valve Energy Amp in a Box series, I was really kind of expecting a lower quality product than what I got. I'm no designer. I don't have necessarily a better way to do it or a better option, but it did remind me of one very important thing, which is don't judge a book by its cover. So go and check out these Valve Energy series of VOX effects. They sound really, really good, and we are stoked to have been able to play them for you on Noisegate here today. As always, thanks for watching. Give us a like and a subscribe and a follow and all of those things. Ring the bell, you know what you got to do, and it really helps the algorithm, and it helps for you to find out when companies like VOX are releasing great new products and they're available for you to go and try. Thanks for watching. See you next time.